In October 2017, an attack in the West African country of Niger left 4 American military officers and 13 soldiers from Niger dead. The ambush was widely reported by media organizations in the United States, but quickly turned into a media frenzy only after President Donald Trump reportedly responded to one of the grieving soldiers' wives insensitively. After that, most of the media's attention focused on the president's handling of the tragedy. But what largely got left out of this political back and forth was the reason the US forces were there in the first place. So we wanted to know, why is the United States fighting in Niger and even more broadly, Africa as a whole? In 2002, only months after the 9/11 terror attacks, the former Bush administration launched a little-known counterterrorism program called the Pan-Sahel Initiative. It was created to work with the militaries of African countries in an assist and advise capacity to crack down on terrorists and criminal groups in the region. The US saw the vast deserts and lawless regions of these countries as areas where potential terror groups could thrive, potentially using them as a base to launch attacks against it. These concerns weren't without warrant either. In West Africa, poverty levels coupled with weak government institutions and failing states created the perfect conditions for the creation of terrorist safe havens. Despite US and even French presence there, terror groups began to thrive in the region, especially Al-Qaeda's affiliate in the area, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, or AQIM. While groups like this posed a threat to regional powers and Western interests there, experts say the groups were unlikely to strike the US or Europe from West Africa. But the US still saw them as a threat and once again expanded its military footprint there. In 2007, the US created a unified military command center for the continent, referred to as AFRICOM, which is responsible for all US military involvement in a total of 53 African countries. And while the US's presence throughout Africa dramatically increased under President Bush, the nation's little reported pivot to Africa also saw increased support from President Barack Obama. A conflict in the West African country of Mali broke out in 2012 when a rebel group captured the north but quickly lost control to a number of Islamist groups in the region who wanted to implement their version of Islamic law. A number of African countries and the French sent troops to the country to fight off the rebel groups in the early phases of the conflict. But in 2013, the US got involved when President Obama deployed 100 troops to neighboring Niger to assist French troops. This was only the start of a growing US-Niger partnership. In 2016, the US announced its plan to build a $100 million military base right in the middle of Niger to help combat militant groups and protect its border from insurgents. The base in Agadez will be the headquarters of a drone and surveillance program in Niger, Mali, Libya, and beyond. Today, more than 800 American troops are based in Niger and over 6,000 throughout the entire African continent. And while coverage of conflicts and political crises throughout Africa have consistently failed to garner global media attention, some experts say that the continent will become the new front line of the US's war on terror. And while many of these nations still grapple with the effects of post-colonialism and teeter between being fragile and failed states, their struggle against terror will likely continue. With Boko Haram in Nigeria, Al-Qaeda groups throughout West Africa, and ISIS in Libya, and even the Democratic Republic of Congo, American military involvement in the continent is also set to increase. So the question now isn't whether the US will continue to militarily operate in Africa, but rather if it will continue to operate in the shadows. Niger isn't the only African country experiencing war. Far from it. Much of Africa is devastated by warfare. To learn about the ongoing wars in the continent, watch this video right here. Thanks for checking out Now This World, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes like this every week.